12 o'clock and it's Friday live, and today I'm really pleased because I've been joined by someone very special, a lady called Julie from Holbeck Together, and she's going to be cooking the lasagna today. But I'm really pleased to have Julie in the kitchen because obviously it's great to have anyone in the kitchen these days, but more so because I've been speaking to Julie for about a year now, and we've had these conversations, and these guys do fantastic work in their community. And it's a community that it means a lot to me because it's more or less on my doorstep back up at home, and they're just amazing. There's going to be lots of ideas in terms of how to get a lot of flavour out of it, how you can bulk a lasagna out, how you can, turn the bolognese sauce into several other different dishes, a bit about batch cooking, how to make a white sauce which is packed with nutritious vegetables as well. I'm sure that Julie's got a load of tricks up her sleeve as well with all her experience in the kitchen, and hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun as well. So I think we'll get started, Julie.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is Julie, everyone, from Holbeck Together, and we're going to be doing a lasagna using all surplus food. So I'm going to hand you over to Julie, who will tell you a little bit about what Holbeck Together do as well, a bit about her background in catering. But I'm going to get her to start doing a lasagna. So Julie, over to you.
Hi, good afternoon everybody. I've been with Holbeck Together just short of 3 years. We are a community charity in the heart of Holbeck in Leeds. We do a lot of outreach meals to the elderly community, and we feed those between 30 and 50 people a day, 5 days a week. Just started doing some work with local families, which we have had loads and loads of support. The lasagna idea came from one of our families, and it was a matter of I always mess it up, so we thought, do you know what, we'd give it a go today. So let's get started with this. So I haven't added any oil to the pan with the mince. Depending on the grading of the mince, whether you're using all beef or whether you're using a mixture of pork and beef. And again, whether if you can get hold of the 5% minced beef, then that's obviously a lot healthier for you and your families. This is a mixture of pork and beef mince. Keep it moving as you're cooking it. You should find that you don't need any oil, and that obviously makes it healthier for you and your families.
I'll be your commie chef today.
Are you going to keep moving? You're going to keep like tidying up for me? Again, if you've got any questions, if there's any of our Holbeck families on there, please send us some questions through, any messages. With the healthy holidays that we did last year, we did a recipe book for the local families, and we did a lot of takeaways. So we did some crispy chicken. We followed the Living World line, say that very quickly. There are other organisations out there. But that was to then, instead of going to the takeaway and getting a lot of fat-enriched takeaways, how could we make things healthier? So we were starting to use things like fry light, showing you how to use fry light with your roast potatoes and things like that, doing tray bakes. And we were getting some amazing pictures back and footage of what you'd all been doing over those weeks. So hopefully with the summer healthy holidays again this year, we will be doing something similar, and I think we're looking at doing takeaways from around the world. So we'll have an Indian week, Chinese week, Italian week, and things like that.
So Julie, I'm going to hop in and just ask you as you're cooking there, because obviously we've been in a very difficult year this year, and things have slightly changed for everybody. When you're cooking, I'm really keen to sort of get to grips with what kind of food you're doing in your kitchen. So do you do lasagnas for the guys, or?
Mainly when we're doing outreach meals, it's the elderly community that we're catering for. We've just started doing a jacket potato Monday.
Nice.
And it's been the regular beans, cheese, tuna. I did put on Monday garlic mushrooms, creamy garlic mushrooms on the phone. It's too good to go. I don't like garlic. It went down in a storm.
Did it?
Absolute storm. So all these older people that tell me they don't eat garlic and don't eat chilli and they don't eat hot food.
They do.
They do. Secretly they do.
And what's the favourite? So what's the meal that you've been doing that everyone sort of comes back and says, oh, that was really good, I enjoyed that?
They're very much roast dinner,
Yeah.
corned beef hash and dumplings. They're like a filling dinner.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, we did some homemade quiche, new potato salad.
Nice.
And that went, yeah, we do diversify everything.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is always based on the food that's coming in from FARESHARE, the food that's been donated. So if I can use, when I get it, so FARESHARE will deliver to me every week 150 kilos of food that may be surplus to requirements from the big supermarkets. It may be near dated food, and I will always take the first choice of that food to then cook for my outreach meals the week after, the fortnight after, so that whatever I have to purchase then, I'm only purchasing. It allows me to purchase better quality items for another meal later in the week.
And as a chef then, because obviously, you know, you've done your career and you were talking earlier on about some places you've worked and stuff, but do you find it as exciting as me when you get your delivery from FARESHARE and sometimes you don't know quite what's going to be in there, and then having that creative brain and think, oh, we can make this, we can make that?
Yeah, when I first started Holbeck Together, they were always running on a 5-week menu cycle.
Right.
And it was like, oh God, you know.
Not this again.
Again. So that's been ditched. So I literally on a Wednesday, Thursday will make the decision as to what we're having the week after.
Right.
So if you've got chicken in, you know, is it a chicken pie? Is it hunter's chicken? Is it a roast chicken dinner? And you can just literally go from one to the other.
Fantastic.
And again, you try new things. I didn't ever think that hunter's chicken would go down. It's a really popular meal now. And again, it's teaching our volunteers a little bit different, that they may not have used it. I asked my volunteers as well, give us some ideas. You know, we've got pork mince coming in, what can we make?
Brilliant.
Make
So
make us own meatballs and things like that.
Fantastic. So I think we've got a question coming up. So Nikki, hello Nikki, says, well done chef. Chef Julie, brilliant. I've said Nikki's from Holbeck Together.
She is. Nikki's one of my volunteers at Holbeck Together. Amazing lady with great family. We've just had a really busy 2 weeks with the healthy holidays, and she's absolutely smashed it.
Oh, brilliant.
Absolutely smashed
Brilliant.
it.
Thanks for that, Nikki. So how are you doing, chef then? So what's happening at the moment? You've got your mince in?
Yeah, I'd like to drain some of this.
Yes, of course, I'll get you
both. So mince is nicely cooked through now. Because we're using a mixture of pork and beef mince, there is quite a little bit of fat on there, so we're just going to drain some of it off. Have you got a colander at all?
Yeah, I can get you on.
See, we're putting you to work.
Sit on a colander, what do you fancy?
Putting you to work. So next into this mince we're going to add the onions. I don't know if you can see the ingredients on the table. I've got some chopped carrots there as well and some celery. So if we can get plenty of veg into your lasagna, then obviously it's a lot healthier for your children. If you've got children that, I don't eat celery, I don't eat carrots, blitz it down if you've got a hand blender or a blender and hide the veg.
Brilliant.
And they don't know that it's in there, but you know that it is, and they're getting the 5 a day.
That's a great tip, I guess, because as we know, it is difficult to try and get veg into children's diets, and you know, I mean, certainly I know kids, if you give them a stick of celery, they're like, well, I'm not touching that. But if you blitz it, like you say, into a sauce, they don't know what's in there.
Yeah.
But what a great feeling to know that they're having all that nutrition. So
The thing is as well, when you're cooking it fresh like this, with your own ingredients, then you know exactly what's going in there. But then the taste is always better, because it may be that you like a more runny taste. There's no extra sugar going in there, there's no additional salt going in there. If you're using a shop-bought bolognese sauce or a pasta sauce, you've got your E numbers in there, you've got the sugar in there, you don't need it.
yeah, exactly.
You don't need any of that.
Yeah.
And then hopefully if you're shopping local at a local community shop, and like we've got at Holbeck, then we may be able to give you some of those veggies to be able to put into your mince, into your dinners, that'll then bulk it out. You've also got to think about, as you're putting more and more vegetables and food in there, you're making the portion size much, much bigger.
Yeah, yeah.
Rather than just adding a jar of sauce.
Yeah.
So if you can then double up out of one lot of cooking, you might get 2 or 3 meals out of that for your family. Make the basic bolognese sauce. Use a third of it for lasagna like we do today. Save it for a chilli tomorrow. And then maybe freeze a portion for when you've got less time, that you could then do a spaghetti bolognese next
So
week.
it's really versatile in the bolognese sauce, isn't it?
Absolutely,
So,
yeah.
I love it, like say, the way that you're getting the veg in there, and you know, it was a great tip there about draining the fat off as well. You know, don't be frightened to do that, really, I guess.
No, not at all. And it's not sticking, it's not burning, and we've added no fat, and we've taken some extra fat out. I'm even putting celery into it, and I don't like celery, so how's that for commitment? That's my lunch.
I think you've had a hello there from Elisa Newsom, is it?
Alright, so Lisa is our Chief Operating Officer for Holbeck Together.
Hello.
So she's even had her own exciting morning. She's been podcasting this morning.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Right.
so watch this space for Lisa for podcasting.
That'll be the next thing we'll have to set up the podcast.
Oh, yeah. My daughter and my husband listen to loads of podcasts. Yeah.
How we doing?
Good. So we're just about to go now with, when I'm making a lasagna, I like quite a strong beef flavoured lasagna.
Right.
And I like a really strong tomato. So I always put tomato puree in.
Lovely.
I think that enriches the lasagna rather than just your sauce. If you're using a jar of sauce, it can still be a bit watery.
Yeah.
Whereas if you get some tomato paste in there, then that just makes it a richer tasting.
So do you like quite a sort of dry lasagna, or do you like a sloppy one?
No, I like a dry.
Yeah.
I want to be able to cut it. I don't want to be
Yeah.
able to put it on the plate anyhow.
Loads everywhere. Yeah. Fantastic. It looks great. Really, when you put the tomatoes in now, a really nice depth of colour, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lovely. And
So,
you're adding in the beef stock cube
Beef
as well.
stock cube, yeah. So put the beef stock cube in, add the tomatoes so that it can go into the liquid. Start with just the one tin, and then just add the second tin.
So that's interesting. Just note there when you put the beef stock cube in, you don't crumble it and you don't dissolve anything, just pour it straight in.
Yeah, it'll dissolve and crumble and work into the mince itself.
Ah, now then, is this your secret ingredient?
Yes, well we're in Sheffield, or just outside Sheffield. We can't use the popular make, we use the local make. So we've got some Henderson's relish going in as well. Not too much, just a little squirt.
And if you didn't have Henderson's, what could you use instead?
Drop of sauce.
Yeah.
I suppose drop of soy sauce maybe, the black soy sauce.
Yeah. Just add a little bit of saltiness.
Yes, yeah. There's no more salt gone in here. We're going to put some herbs in.
Lovely.
Personally, I don't cook with salt because old generation I've got a bad habit of salt in the meal before they've even tried it. I do use a lot of black pepper.
Yes, I'm a big pepper fan. That's my downfall with the pepper. So
yeah, I do use a lot of black pepper. So.
Step with that then, Julie. So you've got some herbs going in.
Yeah, I'll just cut this out now. I shall let you take over and show us how to make a white sauce.
Yeah, no problem
And
at all.
then
While that's cooking down.
Yeah, by the time that's done, this will be ready to start.
I can't wait to have that from you. Okay, so while Julie's just cooking that down, what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to show you how to make a white sauce or a bechamel, if you like. It's a really straightforward thing, but we're going to turn it on its head a bit, because normally what happens with white sauce is you have butter and flour. You make what we call a roux, which basically means just flour and fat. So you make a roux and then you gradually add in your milk, okay? But a white sauce, if you think about it, it's just got butter, flour and milk. So what we want to do is try and pack, like Julie was saying, even more nutrition and more veg in. So what I've got is I've got a pan on, and I'm just going to add a tablespoon of olive oil. And then I've roughly chopped some onions and leeks here. Okay, so obviously I've washed the leeks. It's really important to wash all your fruit or your vegetables. And I've just chopped them down. Now we're going to start by cooking these off. So I'll pop them in the pan. And we're basically just going to sweat them off. So they'll take about 5 minutes or so. And you want it on a sort of medium heat. You can pop a lid on, keep it on a low heat, and they'll just sort of sweat off nice and gentle. What we don't want to do is we don't want to fry the onions, so we don't want them going like burger onions. And the reason for this is, when we make white sauce this way, it actually makes things a little bit easier, because if you've tried making a white sauce before and you've tried making a roux, sometimes it can get really sort of sticky in the pan and stuff, and it gets a little bit difficult. Almost the leeks and the onions take all that work away from you. So what we're going to do is we're going to cook these down nice and gentle. And I'd say it take about 5 minutes or so, get them nice and soft. And then we're still going to be making a roux, so we're still going to be using flour and we're still going to be using butter, but we're going to let the leeks and the onions do the work for us. So it's going to be really, really simple, then we'll gradually add in the milk. Now, as I say, this is a reason for hiding veg into your white sauce. And it's a really versatile thing, a white sauce, because you can turn it into a mushroom sauce, a parsley sauce, so we're going to use that for fish, for example. As I say, you can add in some mustard, mushrooms. It's a really versatile base, but we're going to use this for the lasagna. Now, what I want to do is, as it's cooked down and softened and I made it, I'm going to use a stick blender and I'm going to blitz it down so it's nice and smooth. If you haven't got a stick blender, you could use a liquidizer, that would be perfectly fine as well. And if you haven't got a liquidizer, to be honest with you, just chop everything really, really fine, and you're just going to have a little bit of texture to your white sauce. So we're just going to cook these down a little bit and get them nice and soft. The beautiful thing about making things from scratch is you know exactly what goes into it. The one thing I will say is, sometimes confidence can play a bit of a trick on you and you think, oh, I'm not very good in the kitchen or whatever. I always say, don't worry, give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? If you burn something, it's not the end of the world. If you try it and it doesn't taste how you wanted it to be, okay, learn from it, move on, try it again another time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just have a go, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what it's about. So I'm just going to hand you back over to Julie and we'll see what stage you're at now. And then if you just want to maybe tell me a little bit about your favourite dishes, that would be nice. And,
Alright, okay. So we're just cooking down now, cooking the carrots out, cooking the celery out, making sure the mince is cooked. It will cook further when it goes into the oven anyway, and it will probably go into the oven for a good half an hour. I've just tasted it and adjusted the seasoning. I've just added some more black pepper. That's personal choice. But no, it's coming together really, really nice, really good.
Smells great.
Favourite foods? Let's have a think. We had a really good Thai last night. Yeah, I do like my noodles, but then again, I'm a bit of a comfort person as well. I do like a good Yorkshire pudding and toad in the hole and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm quite open. I will try most things, and yeah, I'm quite easy to entertain.
So here's a question for you then, Julie, which I'm sure people will want a good answer for. You're from Yorkshire, born and bred?
I am, yes.
Okay, what's your secret to a good Yorkshire pudding? Because everyone tries and has a go at them, and you know.
So throw the recipe book away. Don't be looking at 4 eggs and a pinch of this and a pinch of that, and half a pint of milk. Get yourself a decent cup. So any kind of cup, even a cup like that that's full of water, cup of flour, cup of eggs, cup of milk, salt and pepper. It works every time. Really, really hot oven, and don't be tempted to peep.
Ah, so don't open that oven door, eh?
No, don't be peeping. Even though James Martin says you can peep. Don't be peeping.
And so, with your tin as well, because obviously with Yorkshire pudding tins, you know, you get your oil and stuff, so do you use a certain oil? Do you use veg oil or olive oil or
anything?
Nothing? Just mix straight in?
Yeah, no, I'm not bothered. So I always think I fry lighted.
Right.
I've done dripping. I've done proper dripping from the pork butchers. I put it in that, so then you get the crusty, burnt, porky bit on the bottom of your Yorkshire puddings, which is just amazing. Mum's made them years and years ago like you would with lard.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Even though, I mean, we wouldn't ever cook with lard now,
exactly,
but yeah. No, I've used all oils.
And the big question is then, being from Yorkshire, do you have a Yorkshire pudding as a starter? Or do you have what you mean?
I am going to say both.
Oh. You can if you want.
But yeah, no, I like it as a starter with the onion gravy, and the old argument is yes or no to Christmas dinner is definitely a yes.
Yes, I'm
That's
yes.
Be on it. It's got to be a yes on your Christmas dinner as well.
What about you, Georgina? Yorkshire puddings, where do you stand on them?
They're my favourite, but I have them sweet and savoury.
Yeah.
No. So sweet, what do you have sweet? Is it jam?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a jam and even ice cream.
With ice cream?
Yeah,
That's interesting.
Dollop of
Yeah.
ice cream in the middle.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, when we finish this video today, we will put it up online and we'll put the recipe that we've done today as well. But basically, I've got 320 grams of onions and leeks. If you haven't got leeks, you can just do onions, 320 grams of onions. If you haven't got onions, do 320 grams of leeks, okay? They come from the same family, it's called the allium family. Don't really need to know that, but there you go. It's onions and leeks to me. So we're just going to cook them down a little bit further, then I'll add in the butter and the flour, and then I'm just going to basically beat it and it'll come together almost like a roux itself, and I'll show you when we get to that stage. And then I'll gradually start to add in my milk. Now the only thing that you might want to add in here is if you're lucky enough you've got a bay tree, or you can even use dry bay leaves, you can put that in there, a little ground bit of nutmeg, but again it doesn't matter if you haven't got this stuff, just use what you've got, get experimental. Julie put some lovely dried herbs into the bolognese, so you can put that into your white sauce as well. But just have a little go, see what's what. In here, I've just added my butter now, so I'm just gently melting it down, and as it melts down, I can add in my flour as well. So it's 30 grams of butter, and then 60 grams double of flour. It's just plain flour. And I'm just basically going to mix that all together. Give it a good beat. And if I just show you that, Georgina, you see how it's all coming together, and it's thickening up, but I want to carry on cooking this until all that flour is combined into the butter and into the leeks and the onions. And this is something that you can make again in advance. You could make all this up, the bolognese or the white sauce, and you can freeze them. So you've got them for another day, make a batch of it. Especially I know certainly things like Christmas as well. You'll know yourself, it's all about prep, isn't it? You get ahead of the game a bit and make life a little bit easier. Lovely. How's that lasagna looking?
Yeah, I'm ready to start building whatever your sauce is.
Lovely.
Ready.
Well, all I've got to do with this now is make the sauce, get that cooked up, and then I'm just going to blitz it up, and then that will be ready as well. So, excellent. So in terms of numbers, Julie, how many people do you tend to cook for?
Between 30 and 40. So every day. Yeah. We do a Sunday lunch, traditional Sunday lunch at the last Sunday of every month, and that's usually between 40 and 50.
Wow.
Yeah, we've introduced a supper bag as well since we've been going outreach since lockdown.
Nice.
So they will get sandwich, yoghurt, piece of fruit, homemade cakes. Yeah, so they go out as well. So again, they're really popular.
Do you make the cakes then?
Yes, yeah, we do. I've got another volunteer called Val. I don't know if Val's watching today. Hi Val, if you're watching. My absolute amazing colleague that makes the most amazing pastry and quiches and cakes. Yeah, absolutely, she's fab.
What happened, Val? We didn't get any samples today. Brilliant. Okay. So this will take about probably another couple of minutes. I'm just starting to add in the milk gradually now, and as I add the milk in, I let it all absorb and cook in. Yeah. And then basically, once it's done, I'll blitz it down. And as that happens, Julie can start to then build the lasagna. So here's a question for you, Julie. When you're building your lasagna, do you put lasagna on the bottom as well, or do you go straight with the bolognese?
I go in with the bolognese.
Nice.
You do it. Well, I would think personally that if you went in with the pasta first, would it not stick?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've seen some people do it, because I've seen some people try to do it like almost like a milfoi, where they're doing loads and loads of layers and stuff. But, yeah. So how many layers do you go for?
Probably a good 2, depending on the size of this. Yeah, it's going to be 2, and then final layer on the top for your cheese sauce, isn't it?
Nice.
So do you, I'm coming back at you
Go
with
on.
a question now. So do you mince and sauce and pasta? Do you put the white sauce in between as well?
So, I normally go bolognese,
Yeah.
pasta layers,
Yeah.
white sauce, bolognese, pasta, white sauce.
Right. So you
Depending on
are
what
putting
it
your
is.
bolognese on the white sauce.
Yeah,
then?
yeah. Did you not do that?
It's different, isn't it? Some
Yeah.
people just do bolognese and pasta, and then finish with the
Yeah.
white sauce
Oh,
and
yes,
cheese
yeah,
on
yeah.
top.
Yeah.
But I quite like it the way you do it,
So you
because
do the
it seems to creamy the mince up a little bit
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
white sauce, doesn't it?
It's just that, I guess again, it's trial and error and how
Yeah.
you prefer it, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, there's a big debate going on about lasagnas now. How do you guys do it? That's the important thing. Has anyone had a go making lasagna before from scratch? Anyone done that before? If you have, drop one message. So this is coming on quite nice now. You can see it's still quite sort of thick, creamy, but I'm just going to keep adding it till I get it to a nice consistency ready to blitz down. So in terms of when you made your lasagna, Julie, if you were making this at home, say for the family or whatever, and you've made a big tray of it, what's the sort of best way to store it if you had some left over?
I would either decant it into maybe Tupperware, and when it's cold, pop it in the fridge to have the day after, or put it into some Tupperware, label it with today's date or the date that you make it, probably put a date on there for a month's time so that you
Nice.
know that that's when it needs to be used by, and then freeze it.
Lovely. So it is freezable, which is a great thing,
Absolutely,
isn't it?
yeah.
All about convenience, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
And some of there's some really good bags that are out there at the moment, so that you can get like a soup bag. So if you put the bolognese into the soup bag and lay it flat on a tray, so get your tray, lay the bolognese in your bag, put it flat on the tray, put it into your freezer, let it freeze, and then you can literally take it out of the tray, put it back into the freezer. You've got a nice flat container full of bolognese that's not taking up too much room in your freezer.
oh, that's a nice idea. Yeah,
There's some great stuff out there at the minute.
excellent. Is there any food you don't like, Julie? Have you got one thing that you just think no, can't
I'm
be
not
doing
doing
that?
that. I think it's stuff like the old tripe and onions and no, definitely not. I am a big lamb lover, to be
Are
fair.
you not?
No, it wouldn't be my go-to
Right.
meat to
That's
have is
interesting.
lamb. Yeah.
I'm with you on tripe and stuff. I mean, I think I've only ever tried once in an old pub back in the day. But of course, there used to be the tripe shop in Leeds Market.
Yeah.
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 And it used to be very popular. But it's
Yeah.
part of the fish shop, I think
Yeah.
now.
But then I will eat offal. I love liver and onions and
definitely.
steak kidney pie and all. I do eat that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I usually find that I can't cook that at home because my family doesn't like it. So if you do go out for dinner, I always try and pick something on the menu that I don't cook at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm with you when it comes to offal. I think it's very much overlooked, but yeah, it's so cheap as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So chicken livers, pan fried,
Oh yeah.
nice and straightforward.
Yeah.
And I love haggis as well. So you're not a big fan?
No, I've had it and I won't have it again. I think.
Fair enough. And what about lasagna? Is it something that you do cook normally, either for Holbeck Together or for yourself, or?
Yeah, we have done it for Holbeck Together. Definitely at home. It's a go-to staple. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Or I'll do spaghetti bolognese. I may even do it as a pasta bake to finish it off through the oven with
Right.
cheese on the top. And then the day after, I'm a big chilli fan. I love
Yeah,
chilli.
definitely.
Yeah, I love chilli. And I'll have it with jacket wedges, I'll have it with nachos, I'll have it with
Oh,
I am bothered.
nice.
Yeah, I am bothered which way it gets eaten.
Always tastes better the day after you make it, doesn't
Absolutely,
it?
as well. It's
Yeah.
like a stew. If you
Yeah.
make a stew and then have a stew the day after, it's just taking on all the flavours.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm nearly there with me white sauce. So all I'm going to do is add another splash more milk just to loosen it slightly, because again, it depends how you want it, whether you want a thick or a runny one. It is how it is today. We'll blitz it down, and then if you want to, Julie, you can start to sort of think about assembling your lasagna. So if I just show you guys here now, your white sauce, you can see that. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to take it at the back, just give it a quick blitz down. I'll pop that into a jug for you, Julie, then you can pour at leisure.
We've got a really good question here, Julie. Can you think of a vegetarian version for the lasagna?
The lasagna, yeah, I mean, obviously you could do exactly what we've done today using corn mince, using the meatless mince. You can get now some meatless chicken, and you will be able to use the chicken and do maybe a chicken and sweet corn lasagna using, we've got some meatless chicken in our shop at the moment, so you could use that. You could do a vegetable lasagna using tomato sauce. Aubergines would be really good in there, courgettes would be really good in there, lots of peppers. So there's at least 3 there that I've just hopefully given you to do. So mince on the bottom, get a nice even layer.
Right then. I hope you got to hear that, guys, over my racket.
So again, you've got a nice even layer of the mince in the bottom. From there, take your pasta sheets, and these just fit perfectly. One down the side of each.
And there's your sauce.
And then we're going to do Chris's recipe today. So there's the lovely, lovely white sauce. Still got lots of texture in there. You can really see the leaks.
So what you tend to find with this white sauce, although there's like vegetables in there, so you've got your onions and leeks, it's actually quite sweet, you know, so that's just one thing to bear in mind. But again, like sometimes I put a little dusting of nutmeg in, but same with you, I love pepper, so I tend to go a bit heavy-handed on the pepper.
Yeah.
But again, it's just about experimenting, trying it. If you don't want to put leeks and onions in, that's fine, just make a normal white sauce. As I say, you can add in cheese, you could add in mustard, you could add in mushrooms, parsley, so it's a very, very versatile sauce. Speaking of which, what I've got for you, Julie, is some cheese. Now, I don't add the cheese into the white sauce, and the reason being is, cheese is saturated fat, so what we tend to do is we try to cut that down in our diet. So I've gone for some grated mature cheddar, and mature cheddar is stronger in flavour, so you don't need as much of it. So I've basically just got some grated cheddar just to put across the top. Wow, it's looking good.
It is looking good.
Now I'm going to get you a little tray to sit that on when it goes in the oven.
So with this layer, I've really squashed the pasta up so that there's no gaps between it. What you can do with the lasagna then is just literally break it to go and then fill the bottom parts in so that it's nicely covered.
So a quick question for you both as well. Would the white sauce have the same effect if it is dairy free?
That's a great question. So I can tell you the answer to that one, because when we took this, we did a project a couple of years ago with FARESHARE, Tesco's and Jane and all that, and when we went around there was a lot of people out in the UK that had allergens, etc. And when we were making this white sauce, we had to accommodate, so if you know, for certain of you in your community, you'll know this as well. You can adapt it, so for example, if you've got like a dairy intolerance, you can leave the butter out and just use oil instead of butter, that works okay. For people who've got gluten intolerances, I just use plain flour, but you can get gluten-free flour, plain version, you can use that. And going back,
Flour, couldn't you?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, corn flour.
Corn flour, yeah, but it works as a thickening agent. But also, going to the milk question, I've used things like oat milk, soya milk. I wouldn't use things like almond milk or coconut milk because they're too like strong in flavour. But yes, certainly there's an alternative there. So instead of butter, use oil. If you've got gluten allergy, like say corn flour or gluten-free flour, and in terms of the milk, definitely go for something like soya milk or oat milk. So great question, that one. Look at that. That's looking very, very nice indeed.
So the majority of these ingredients, if not all of these ingredients, have been supplied by FARESHARE. So again, if you were using one of your local community shops, this is something that of the ingredients that you could pick up while shopping there. and it would make a really healthy, substantial tea for a small amount of money.
Yeah, nice. And would you serve it with anything at all, or?
Garlic bread's always a nice one to do, and again, if you can get yourself some French stick or some ciabattas, it's not difficult to make. Some garlic bread, nice crisp salad would be good.
Salad would be lovely, yeah, just to make it balanced. So
yeah.
that looks fantastic. So that's how it looks. I've done one that I did earlier, which has been cooked and sort of sat out a bit. So I'm just going to quickly show you that one, but I mean, it goes a long way. So if you have a look there, and the cheese is all melted, there's you know, you've got a bit of colour coming into the pasta now. You've got all the nice layers as well. Similar to, I like a nice sort of thick one that you can slice up as well. But you know, that would easily feed a family with leftovers for another day as well. So absolutely fantastic. All made with surplus. And to be honest with you, it's still hot. It's going to burn my hands. I'm going to move it. I'm going to get this one in the oven. And then that is going to be our lunch. So that is how you make a lasagna from scratch, guys. A big thank you, of course, to Julie for coming from Holbeck Together, a fantastic charity partner. Some great ideas there. We'll get this up online as well, so it's there for you to have a look. We'll put it on the YouTube channel as well. We'll write the recipe up for both the lasagna and also the white sauce to go with that as well. So yeah, a huge thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, I've loved it.
It's been good fun, isn't it? We're going to have to do it again sometime.
Yeah,
so thanks ever so much to Julie from Holbeck Together. Thank you for you guys for watching as well. Hope you've enjoyed it. We'll be back in another few weeks probably with something else. Let us know if there's anything in particular you want us to cook. And in the meantime, we're going to go and enjoy our lasagna. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Thanks of course to Georgina as well, as always, for doing the camera. So
bye.